لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على الأتمان الأكملان على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، إخوة الإيمان، قد روى الإمام الحاكم في مستدركه من حديث عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله تعالى عنهما مرفوعا: إن الإيمان لا يخلق في جوف أحدكم كما يخلق الثوب البالي، فاسألوا الله أن يجدد لكم الإيمان. إن الإيمان قد يضعف، قد يتعب، قد يبلى في جوف أحدكم، يعني في صدوركم، في قلوبكم، كما تشاهدون وكما تحسون، شيء واقعي ملموس محسوس. الثوب الذي بقي معك مدة من الزمن يبلى، ليس في اليوم الذي اشتريت هذا الثوب. اليوم هو أزرق فاتح بعد الغسل وسنة وسنتين، وهناك تراب وهناك ريح وهناك خياطة وهناك خرقة وهناك. بعد مدة من الزمن يصير الثوب على أحسن الأحوال قد بلى، قد صار بالي. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ضرب لنا مثلا محسوسا لزيادة الإيمان ولنقصانه ولضعفه. الإنسان فضلا عن الوقوع في المحرمات والمعاصي، لا، خليك عن هذا. متاعب الدنيا، الأولاد، الزوج، الزوجة، الفواتير، البيت، هذا وذاك وهناك، وهذا يموت وهذا يعيش وهذا يولد، مشاكل الدنيا، ينشغل، يتعب، يغفل عن الذكر، يغفل عن العلم، يغفل عن التجديد، يغفل عن هذا الشيء، فضلا عن الوقوع في الحرام. إن الإيمان لا يخلق في جوف أحدكم. كيف هذا يا رسول الله؟ كيف كما يخلق الثوب البالي؟ طيب، ما العلاج؟ ما المخرج من هذه الظاهرة التي لا يمكن إنكارها من أي أحد؟ ما العلاج؟ فاسألوا الله أن يجدد لكم الإيمان. عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله تعالى عنهما, he narrated in a hadith has been collected by Imam al-Hakim in his book Al-Mustadrak al-Sahihain. FYI, for the hadith disciples, Imam Abu Abdullah al-Hakim al-Naysaburi, he died in the year 405 from Nishapur, the same country of Imam Muslim. He has a collection of hadiths, just like Imam al-Bukhari, and Imam Ahmad, Imam Abu Dawud, they have collections of hadith. And obviously he came after Al-Qarn al-Dhahabi, the 3rd century, the golden era. His book was a bit different, it was a bit later, but it's a very important collection of hadith. He wrote a book about hadiths that he felt met and fulfilled the standards of Bukhari and Muslim. Al-Mustadrak, يعني ما كان على شرط الشيخين. That which fulfills their standards of authenticity, but he didn't, or they chose not to put it in their 2 books. So this alim, al-Hakim rahimahullah, he has a collection of hadiths, and from those hadiths is that which is reported by Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with them both, or reported that the Messenger of Allah said that one's iman, one's faith, one's belief, or if you don't want to translate, one's iman can become worn out. It can become old. It can become used up. It can become stale. It can become withered and tithered. How? How is this possible? For a person who's a believer, he's making shahada, he's a Muslim, how can his iman get lower? How can he become decrepit? Kaif? The Prophet says, just like a piece of clothing, a garment. So what color am I wearing right now? What color is this? Azraq. Blue, right? So how old do you think the stove is? Okay. Shahar, sana, 5 سنوات. I'm not that good. I don't take care of things that well, Akhi. It's not that old. I've had this stove maybe less than a year. And I've worn the stove sparsely, here and there. Didn't wear the stove too many times. Al-Muhim is that right now it's blue. And it's relatively vibrant. It doesn't look faded, right? Stitched or torn apart. However, if you see me in 6 months, or a year, or 2 years, and I spill something on it, and I accidentally washed it in a low bleach, or one of my children takes something to it, or it gets rips, it gets faded, etc. Then how is my fold going to look? At best, it's going to become a little faded. At best, there's going to be a rip. There's going to be something that I stitched up. It's my favorite though, but I don't want to get rid of it. At best, it's going to become a little small as wear and tear of time. Let alone at worst, it's going to be discarded. It may be thrown away. It may be unsuited for dress. So the Prophet ﷺ says that Iman in your heart can become worn out, just like a piece of clothing can get worn out. So therefore, what's the solution? How does one's Iman become worn out? It doesn't have to be that you're a sinner. It doesn't have to be that you sell khamar and khinzir, the flesh of swine. It doesn't have to be that you take riba, you deal with riba. It doesn't have to be that you beat up your wife, you black her eye. It doesn't mean that you don't cover mutabarrijah, that you tasub walidayk wa tal'anuhum wa tadribuhum wa tashtumuhum. La yalzam min hada. It doesn't have to be that you're a fasiq, an asi, a sinner. You take the wealth of the orphan, ayyan can. Doesn't mean that. But just the sheer fact that I gotta go to work in the morning. I have to pay bills. My son wants a basketball. My daughter wants this. My wife wants that. My father, my husband, my this, my that. The dunya, let alone sports, the news, politics, health, going to the hospital, getting older. You go through a lot just living in the dunya. And there's so many things to keep your mind stimulated and preoccupied. Let alone if you're an actual sinner, a sinner, in which you're making sins openly, publicly, over and over again. There lies no doubt your Iman can become beat up. At worst, at best, it's going to get fuzzy. It's going to fade. So what's the solution? How do we protect ourselves from this? What do we do? The Prophet ﷺ told us, أجاب دون أن يسأل كما ورد عن النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. كذلك في حديث عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص وهو ثابت في الصحيح ما بعث الله من نبي إلا كان حقا عليه أن يدل أمته على خير ما يعلمه لهم وأن ينذر أمته من شر ما يعلمه لهم أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. He says that Allah has never sent a prophet except that it was his duty and his responsibility to tell them, to teach them about that which he knows is good for them. And it was his duty and his responsibility to warn them about the evil that he knows for them. So the Prophet says, he gave the answer before he was even asked. He says, فَاسْأَلُ اللَّهَ أَنْ يُجَدِّدَ لَكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. So ask Allah, يعني على صفة الدوام, دوام, دائما. Ask Allah all of the time, and يُجَدِّدَ لَكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ, to renew your Iman. Ask Allah to renew your Iman, to keep your Iman fresh. So when you go to the laundromat or the laundromat, or you wash it in your basement or wherever your washing dryer is in your kitchen, you go to Walmart, you go to the market, how many products are there? How many services are out there? Dry cleaning, to preserve your clothes, to keep your shirt asfar, nasa, safra, keep it bright yellow, and not to be faded, bright yellow, or to keep your wool to remain, as wool is to remain, or woman's silk garment to remain silky smooth, and to keep the fabric, the crispiness of it, the softness of it, the coarseness of it, etc. How much, or how many products are out there in one aisle? Fabric softener, fabric brightener, this type of bleach, this type of this type of that, this type of that. How much money is made in the dry cleaning? just to take care of your clothes, because clothes become worn out. So anyone who wishes to keep his clothes in good shape, and he knows that clothes become worn out, you have one yellow as well, huh? Different shade. Now this is more of a packer yellow, a cheese yellow, huh?
No.
Sahih?
Yeah.
Like it. You realize that clothes become worn out. So there has to be something that you do. And that is the care that you give to your clothes. And that's when the Prophet says, so ask Allah to renew your Iman. فَاسْأَلْ اللَّهَ أَنْ يُجَدِّدَ لَكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. Ask Allah, Rahman, to increase, to stabilize, to maintain, and to renew and update your what? Your Iman. How many updates do they send on your phone? I just installed an update. Right? My Galaxy, I just installed an update. Then it said it's time for what? Another update. Between 2 and 5 overnight, it'll install, right? And you just installed it, but then you do what? Update it again. There's a new virus, it's faster, it saves battery more, etc. It never ever stops. So the Prophet, he wants us to constantly update our operating systems. فَاسْأَلْ اللَّهَ أَنْ يُجَدِّدَ لَكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. ولا يتوقف هذا الحديث النبوي الشريف على هذا فقط فحسب. هناك وراء السؤال شيء يطالب به الإنسان. شيء يطالب به الإنسان. وهو العمل والتشمير عن سائل الجد. هناك الحج، هناك العمرة، هناك الصلوات الخمس، هناك الجمعة، هناك الأعياد، هناك. Things that reoccur, al-Eid, and Yarud. It doesn't happen every day. You don't have to do it every day. But from time to time, you must keep track on the updating of your Iman. How many times was the last time you've been to make Hajj or Umrah? When was the last time you've been to Jumu'ah? And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam يقول من ترك ثلاث جمع متوالية متهاونا بها والعياذ بالله الحديث معروف عندكم. He who leaves off 3 Jumu'ahs consecutively, back to back, no excuse. His heart, a seal will be placed upon. So the point is that there's something more than just asking Allah to increase your Iman and to preserve your Iman and to refresh your Iman. But you yourself have to do something physical. And that is the reoccurring acts of al-ibadah. وَأَعْظَمُ وَأَهَمُّ شَيْءٍ يَهْتَمُّ بِهِ الْإِنسَانُ في هذا العصر بل وفي كل عصر لكن نتكلم عن عصرنا هذا. أهم شيء عنده هو الاهتمام بإيمانه بتثبيته وتجديده وزيادته وحفظه من الضياع ومن النقصان فضلا عن أن يضمحل ويندرس يذهب بالكلية والعياذ بالله. The most important thing, the biggest of your tasks in 2018, all of the time, but in 2018, is to keep a close watch on your Iman. That's the thing that deserves your most time, the most attention, the most effort, is that you keep a close watch on your Iman. People, they watch their calories, right? Their blood pressure, right? And a restaurant. Years back, it wasn't like that. Now you go to a restaurant, 320 calories, 100 calories, such calories. People are watchful of what they eat and what they consume. People are watchful of what's in the product now because they have to look after their health, which is important. كيف والنبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يقول كما ثبت في حديث عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله عنهما وثابت في الصحيح نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ. The Prophet said, he said, as Ibn Abbas narrated, there are 2 things that most people lose out on. There are 2 things that most men and most women are very foolish regarding. 2 things. And these things are good health and free time. الإنسان يحافظ على صحته. ولا كيف يقوم يصلي؟ كيف يصوم؟ كيف يذهب إلى الحج؟ كيف يجاهد؟ وهو ضعفان. مستحيل. الإنسان يحافظ على الصحة. ينمي القوة. A person is to look after his health. A person is to grow stronger. There's nothing wrong with that. A person has to look after his family. كما ذكرنا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا. A person has to look after everything. Wealth, investments, halal business, all of these things. But the most important thing, number one, is looking after your Iman. Because Iman can go away. Iman can decrease. And Iman, as we said, can become just beat up and worn out. Not by sinning, not by being disobedient to Allah, but just living in this world, living in the dunya. There may be somebody that you don't see in a long time, somebody that you don't visit in a long time, somebody you forget to contact, just because of the hustle and the bustle. I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I come home from work, I have to take the kids out, I have to buy this, I have to do that. So many responsibilities in the dunya. So there lies no doubt your heart is going to go through some fading. Your Iman is going to go through some fading. So therefore ask Allah to increase it. And after you ask Allah to increase it, you yourself must physically do that which is necessary للتجديد. Whether that be Hajj, whether that be Umrah, whether that be Ilm, تجديد عهد. And this is why people, they have anniversaries. That's why they have anniversaries. And that's why people make statues. That's why they do these things. So the people would never ever forget. And they'll constantly renew it. A married couple, we've been married for all of these years. I love you, you love me. However, I get a little grumpy. I get a little irritated. You get a little rude, you get a little sarcastic, you get busy, you get this, you get that. This is our anniversary day in which we got married. So that's nujaddid. Let's renew it. Because things wear out through time. The sheer power of time. So the Prophet ﷺ, he wants us in his hadith, Nabi Sharif, and ينبهنا على هذه الحقيقة الذي طالما غفل عنها أكثر الناس, which most people are unaware of and they don't know. And he also wants us to implement and to act the requirement of this supplication. طيب, خير إن شاء الله. With that being said, ثم اعلموا رحمكم الله أن للإيمان فضائل كثيرة وثمرات متنوعة يستفيدها الإنسان. ليس هناك شيء أكرم على الله من عبده المؤمن. فلا بد من أن نتذكر هذه الفضائل. وهناك من يجهل ولا يعلم هذه الثمرات التي يجتنيها على عبد المسلم. ومن تلكم الثمرات ومن تلكم الفضائل التي يجب على الإنسان أن يكون دائما وأبدا هذه على باله ما جاء في كتاب ابن سعدي رحمه الله تعالى، ألا وهو التوضيح والبيان لشجرة الإيمان. قال المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى: ولو لم يكن من ثمرات الإيمان إلا أنه يسلي صاحبه عن المصائب والمكاره التي كل أحد عرضة لها في كل وقت. ومصاحبة الإيمان واليقين أعظم مسل عنها ومهون لها، وذلك لقوة إيمانه وقوة توكله ولقوة رجائه بثواب ربه وطمعه في فضله. فحلاوة الأجر تخفف مرارة الصبر. انتبهوا، هذا الكلام يكتب بماء العينين. He says that there are many virtues of Iman. Many virtues, And from the greatest of those virtues, and if this was the only thing that you got from being a Muslim and a believer, it wouldn't be a wasted life. It would be worth it. If this was all that you got from being a mu'min. There are many things that you get from being a believer. Many exclusive things you get from being a believer. And from those fruits, from those benefits that you get from being a believer, he says that would be enough, is that Iman. It helps you. It supports you. It soothes you at the time of calamity and misfortune. At the time of calamity and at the time of misfortune. At the time of something extremely traumatic happening to you. Something being taken away from you or thrown upon you, which would make the average person who is a Muslim to lose his or her mind. To lose it, to go crazy, to go mad because of what happened. And And if they don't go mad, it will leave a tremendous mental, psychological scar. And that's not necessarily the case with the Muslim. So here in this book, which is called At-Tawdih wal-Bayan, clarification for the tree of faith, he mentions one of the fruits of having Iman, being a Muslim. Now we mentioned is that a person has to protect his Iman in 2018. He has to protect his Iman. Anything that's a precious gift, a worthy investment, it has to be protected. That's common sense. And also, know for sure, all of the time, all of the money, all of the effort that you put forth and you exert in protecting it, you must benefit from it. You have to benefit from it. And from those benefits is that Iman, it soothes you. It pats you on the back. It gives you a hug. It allows you to cry on it. It makes you feel better at the time of calamity, at the time of makari and masa'ib, things that you don't like, things that aren't necessarily going in your favor, but you suck it up and you realize that I'm a believer. And every ounce of pain is going to equal a bucket of pleasure. And obviously the opposite being the what? The opposite. Every time you enjoy something and it's impermissible and unlawful, if you enjoy it for 5 minutes, that may equal 50 years of misery and suffering. Ibn Sa'di rahimahullah, he says, Masa'ib, he says calamities which will afflict each and every individual. There's no one that calamity doesn't come to. It's not going to come to you because you're wearing glasses. It's not going to come to you because you're having a striped shirt. It's not going to come to you because you come from a country or an age. He's young. So therefore there's not going to be no calamity. This is a woman. This is an old lady. This is all that. Calamities, they don't care about these things. They befall each and every single human being. Muslim and non-Muslim. وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْكُمْ خَاصَّةً. Righteous and those who are righteous, let alone people who aren't even Muslim. Everyone will be befallen with a calamity. My son died, my father died, I was paralyzed in a car accident, I was wounded, I was shot, somebody took my wealth, I got this disease, this major terminal cancer, this type of surgery, anything. My family is broken up, split up, anything. Everyone is going to be afflicted, is going to get their turn of masa'ib and makari. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا Nice. All of men. He says here, and when a person, he says, فِي كُلِّ وَقْتٍ, all of the time.